Hey everybody, this is Rydo, and we are starting a new series for a game called Guacamelee. Not guacamole, the delicious dip for your chips, but Guacamelee, as in you will be fighting. So we just played a game called Shank that was a pretty shallow game with a pretty shallow revenge plot, and it seemed to be most set in a Mexican-esque style with Mexican-esque people, although they never came out and said that. And I figured in comparison we could see how maybe a different company might do it differently. But before we even start, we have a problem. There are two versions of Guacamelee on Steam. There is this gold version, which includes all the DLC up to the gold version. And then there is a Super Turbo Championship Edition. And that includes everything in the gold version and more. So no real definitive edition, and they are completely separate programs with completely separate achievements and completely separate save files. So we have here what is the worst example of early implementations of DLC, where in modern days the gold edition would have just been turned into the Turbo Championship Edition. Here they released a completely different game, which means the only way I can figure you should play this is probably play the newest version, which came out in 2014. This version came out in 2013. So it's only a year difference anyways. But play the latest version if you like the game, if you want to do a historical retrospective, or if you just want to get all of the achievements a second time, which on Steam would probably mean that you had actually gotten 100% of all of the achievements on the newer version. Then come back and play this gold edition, because then you might get something slightly different, but different only in the sense as in lesser, because there are bosses and elements missing. So for the gold edition, since we're not going to play it, we won't unlock the extras, but I imagine they're the same. I just wanted to point out the settings here. Wow, everything got turned to French at some point there. So you have just your resolution settings at a different hertz frequencies. Full screen lock VSync, which is an odd way to say it, and that's not how I'd want it done. You can assign controllers. That's a feature that isn't a terrible feature to have in everything, and you can see what the controllers do. This game is similar to Shank, but I think it has a lot more going to it. It's more of a Metroidvania game. So keep that in mind as we exit out of this version, so we can run the better version, the newer version. It says controller is recommended. However,
Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition.
One thing that's actually interesting about the new version is if you bring out the mouse and try to click to go forward, it doesn't work in the new version, but it does in the old version. So you either have to press start on your controller or hit enter. That seems like an odd omission, but whatever. So, Super Turbo Championship Edition it will be. Take a look here at these options. There's this shadow swap option that I have no idea what this is, and it says advanced. By default it was MP only, so I'll leave that. By default the resolution was not at 1080p. It was either lower version. I've turned off lock VSync, and projected shadows was not something that we could do before. Everything else is, as far as I can tell, the same. Although, see, it's saying on this controller that Shadow Swap is just a button we're gonna do. So it feels like maybe there's gonna be a massive ability that's added in this version that wasn't in the previous. The only way I'd ever know that, however, is by playing both games, and I haven't played it once, so I'm not willing to commit to that. I imagine these extras are the same. That's all the real setup we need to do since we've explained that, so let's begin. One. I guess I have to hit A to go forward. Are you home, Juan? Juan! Wake up, Juan! Alright. So, the platforming in Shank was very limited. And right now, I have just a basic tutorial of leaving this area. It's kind of a shame. Seems like X both does a kick when in the air and a punch when you're standing. I really wish you could punch the punching bags. And so Juan looks like he is a Mexican style wrestler, masked wrestler. You've got a bunch of these going on. And we are going to leave a building, which is new. You're finally awake. Noon is upon us. The sun is at its zenith. Well, I guess that is... Isn't that what noon means? No time to sleep the day away. The Dia de los Muertos festival is nigh. The Day of the Dead. Take some time to compose yourself. I could use your strong arms at the church once you've brushed your teeth. Okay, let's go brush our teeth. Objective. Go to the church in Publico to... Well, it didn't give me enough time to read all of that. So is there a place where I can brush my teeth? If I want down, I have to press down and A. There's a masked wrestler lady. So this is some pretty classic platforming stuff. I see no toothbrush, however. And I can punch barrels and get coins. That's nice. Shank was such a simplistic game that it's nice to do something different. I just punched a chicken on accident. We'll just keep punching the chickens and see what happens. Is this how we compose ourselves? Nice artistry. That was the one thing I did like about Shankers, that it seemed like they spent some time. Did I get that chicken all the way off the screen? They spent some time on their animations. Publico. Seems like I might be collecting some health too. So we can go to the field, the forest, or the mansion. Let's hit Y and talk to this lady. Nice music. One, I have a fiesta soon, and I don't want to be short on tequila. Oh, sorry, Juan. I'd love to invite you, but it's a luchadors only. Luchador. That's the master wrestlers. So maybe Juan isn't a luchador yet, but is going to become one. Maybe he's going to get some kind of magical luchador mask. Hey, Juan. Oh, the luchadors are practicing for the upcoming Dia de los Muertos tournament. I can't let you pass. Interesting. Now, compared to Shank, I think it is a fair argument to say they spent more effort in Shank to make it. I can't get up here. To animate the voice acting and have actual conversations. Let's see. Big luchador thing. But I think there's gonna be more actual dialogue because they've decided not to fully voice act this. It certainly is quiet in the house these days. I can't bring myself to get rid of her favorite toy though, so I keep it in a cellar under the stairs. So did her I guess her daughter moved out. It's true, I was a real mamacita in the old days. You better believe it. I know most of these words, I just haven't seen them written down in English. Or, well, I haven't seen them in Spanish either. Let's punch all these chickens. They don't seem like they're dropping anything. And I feel like eventually these chickens, if this was a Zelda game, these chickens would eventually decide to attack back and kill me. I can't jump down here. The cat versus the frog. El Presidente's daughter is not just beautiful, she's also muy inteligente. Smart. Did you know she has a degree in humanities? Germanities? Is that a joke, or is that how you would spell humanities? And we have soccer. And this is the church up here, so we should look at everything first. All these Mexican dolls. Now, they are slightly playing to some stereotypes. Like you really have to go. Not all Mexican people have their house decorated with soccer and luchador mass wrestling. Not all of them care about it. So, in the same way that Shank only slightly felt like it was set in Mexico, this slightly feels like it's set in a fictional Mexico-like world that is obsessed with masked wrestling more than reality. I remember you and El Presidente's daughter would hang out all the time. You haven't spoken in years. Why? That's a good question. Yeah. That's a question I'd like to know. Freya says that the best mathlete in town. Can you digit? Frey Ayaya says that I'm the best mathlete in town. Can you digit? I think that's just a pun. It's an odd pun that doesn't even seem to really make sense. This house is locked. The old castle has been abandoned for years. People say that a witch used to live there. True or not, nobody wants to live in that house. Interesting. And so... Hey Juan, aren't you excited for the festival? I think Freya Ayaya was looking for you. He was saying he needed help with the preparations for this evening, so they're not going to let me. They're simply not going to let me go anywhere I'm not supposed to go. Look at all these birds flown away. Now there's definitely a misconnection here because as far as I know there's no connection whatsoever between luchador wrestling and the Dia de los Muertes thing. Hola Juan, thanks for coming to help. trying to clear some space here. We're expecting people to come all over for the festival. Even El Presidente's daughter has returned from La Universidad de Santa Lucita. Enough gossip. Could you bust these empty wine barrels around in the corner? So, like, here we have a Catholic cross, and then strange luchador stained glasses. We're still in the tutorial section. They're not expecting you to figure things out on your own, are they? Which is fine. What strength? I knew you had it in you. El Presidente's daughter always said she saw your potential as well. Such a nice girl. I'm glad that El Ambassador's son is out of the picture. Him and El Cabinet Minister's wife. What a scandal. Huh. So more backstory that I'd like to hear the full story on. Let's see. Hablando del Rey de Roma. Look who has appeared. Is that supposed to be speak of the lady? Speaking of the woman, look who appears. See, now they're getting into slightly more complicated Spanish that I may not be able to translate if they get too crazy with the phrasing. Hello, Freya. I suppose fry is probably friar in English. Juan. Hi, Juan. Fry asked me to stop by today. I didn't expect you to be here. Juan, you look so... Remember when we were kids, we used to get into so much trouble together. Wow, that feels like so long ago now. You've really grown up. Anyway, Freya, I found those chairs you were asking about. I'll bring them over later. Juan, could you come by the mansion and help me carry them? I'd really love to spend some time with you. If you want, maybe we can even go to the festival together. I should go. Hope to see you later, Juan. Bye, Freya. Hey Juan, didn't you hear what she said? Now's your chance. Ooh, this is better than watching the telenovelas. Whoa, how many times do I have to tell those kids not to play with fireworks? What was I saying? Yes, El Presidente's daughter. You should really go see her. Now, I would slightly object to everybody calling her just the daughter of the El Presidente. Surely she has a name that they could have introduced her as, and done. And hopefully they'll move in that direction. So, unless there's a reason to go back to the field, I don't think there's anything else I can do. But what I wanted to see is if I ran this way, if things would refill. And it doesn't seem like they do. It doesn't seem like anything has significantly changed, although the outer decorations may have changed. And see, this here looks like a secret doorway that we're gonna unlock. Like, I don't recall it being lit up and decorated like this. And the fact that birds fly away when I run seems like that is gonna give me the opportunity to run faster later on in the game. So we're not making the most amount of progress as we're going through this tutorial section, but this is a moderately short game, particularly considering they're calling it a Metroidvania game. But seems to be a significant amount of collectibles and extras that you could go back and try and find, maybe in a second playthrough or maybe in the first playthrough as you're just trying to get 100% of everything. So we need to start seeing more of our abilities. All we've gotten so far is jump and attack. Hey Juan, what's up? Some chairs for the festival? Sure, I'll just... Objective, rescue the president's letter. Oh yeah, Diaz Moses. El President's mansion is fine. Do something, Juan. How about you do something too? So somebody was playing with fireworks and it's on fire. Oh, so someone is trying to play the hero. Okay, we've got a bad guy now. You're far from the fields, agave boy. This is no place for you. I think agave is a type of cactus. Juan, run now before this ugly skeleton gets you too. Haha, what do we have here? So we've got a skeleton and a flame head and a lady. I sure wouldn't mind melting those eyes off your skull. Grand Calaca, it would be my pleasure to get rid of this intruder. Leave this one to me, flame face. I could use a bit of action today. Silencio. If Waga Yabi were here, he could be trusted to handle this. Unfortunately, he is occupied. I'll get rid of this puny Jimador myself. The living world may have chosen to forget me once, but I won't give them a choice this time. I'm Carlos Calaca, ruler of the dead world, and you're not even a luchador. Prepare to die. Ah ha 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 ha. Carlos Calaca versus me, and you get a little load screen. One, no. Hey guys, what did I miss? So we've got like 4 boss bad guys to begin with. And we start dying by dying immediately. And so we're over kind of in a dead version of where we were before, I think. You can see some skulls that I don't think were there before, and different types of plants and water and splashing. And we're now in the Publico, in the dead version of the Publico, which seems to be considerably different. You see there's a mask right here. Greetings, Juan. I am Tostada, guardian of the mask. How interesting the mask has revealed itself to you. Calaca has thrown the universe out of order. You must have some role to play. If you put on this mask, Juan, its power will bring you back to the world of the living. Are you ready? No. Didn't give me a choice. Well, I could have walked into that building, and I chose to run forward instead. Oops. I don't think it will matter. I think eventually we'll get back into that area. Psst, Luchador over here. The town is under attack by evil skeletons. They've locked everybody in the church and I fear they intend to burn it to the ground. Please save us. Before you go, though, a tip. If you want to check your current objective, hit back. Now please, go save the town. I'll just keep pretending to be a barrel. A second player may now join. Press start on the player's 2 sign controller to play as Tostada. And apparently 4 players could join if I wanted. And so back shows us a map, and the objective is at the bottom of the map. And if I want to zoom in and zoom out and scroll the map and world map, and see we've got a significant, although not incredibly large area. When you look at this So I want to hit a button. I'm hitting the right bumper now just to see if I could switch. And I can't. So now we're punching and kicking, which is somewhat similar to what we were doing with Shank. Although we're doing it with the X button, but the Y button seems to have a grab function. Interesting. When I punch this and hit Y, I apparently have the ability to throw angry chickens. Interesting. So, I don't know what the point of that is. Let's see, punch, and then I can't grab until a certain point. And B button does nothing. So it seems like you have what I would call a finisher wrestling move ability. Now if I want to go back in here, will I find anything? Nope. Absolutely nothing here. There were no skeletons though. It's a little bit of a shame that there's a loading between these sections. Like that seems like an unnecessary load. I like this combo system slightly better than what Shank had because the way Shank did it, it was fast-paced, a little too fast-paced and a little demanding. Let's see. So we're kind of into the game. The tutorial, I guess, wasn't that far. And see, there's, I guess, a significant number of moves that we're gonna unlock. Let's see. Page down with the right trigger and page up with the left trigger. It's not a ton, no. And we've gone almost 30 minutes, so let's see what happens here. Get back to Fiend, help, help. You there, Luchador, save me from this Escador. So we've got attacking. Thank you, my son. But we aren't safe yet. They've locked the townsfolk in the water closet. Help us, I'm scared and it smells gross in here. Aye, 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 here they come. So it seems like enemies are going to show up. And fortunately the enemies jump down and oh no, dark ghost from the dead world. Don't let him hit you, Luchador. Roll into the end of each swipe attack. So I'd say keep rolling into the swipe. Well, that's a fast one. Don't forget to dodge the attack. How do I dodge? I'm dead. This seems strange. All of a sudden the game has gotten way more difficult. At last we're safe. You saved the day. Now please free the townsfolk from the water closet. I can't thank you enough for what you've done here today, Luchador. Still, I worry for the safety of El Presidente and his family. Look for clues for Santa Luchida. I think some of the evil escudos were headed that way. Godspeed, Luchador. The world is in need of your help. And see, I got a blessing, I guess, when I talked to him. Interesting, which refilled my health. And I think that puts everybody back here. And then the question, I guess, becomes, do I want to talk to the people a second time? I guess I don't need to. I think the game is explicitly saying there's no reason to talk to people that you haven't talked to, and in fact, the fact that we see this guy has a indicator above his head tells me that we're going to be set quite nicely. So it looks like on the map, if you look in the lower right hand corner, there's 9 collectibles in total, and maybe that is this in just this circle, or maybe that's in these 3 circles combined. Seems like we're gonna go to a forest. Maybe the forest ends up being a lot bigger. I kind of feel like it would have to be, wouldn't it, to make a long run to Luchida, and then from Luchida probably get sent on some side quests, and then eventually go this way, and then work our way back to Publico, and then at some point probably have to go from Luchida to the desert, and then from the desert to the Toll Tree, and then El Forno and Temple of War. And I would guess Temple of War is the last place, but it might be El Inferno too. And I can't imagine that there's much more. We've done 0% according to the top right corner of the game. But from my research, this is only about a 6-hour game, and if you just go through the story, maybe 12 hours if we try to collect everything. I think we will. The Super Turbo Championship Edition, or whatever the name is, seems like it's going to add a couple of points. However, when I see that people report this as a 6-hour game, and then I know the Gold Edition already had a bunch of DLC in it, and this Turbo Edition has even more DLC in it, it seems like they split up their game way too much, and they would have been a better salesman and a more honest company, Drinkbox Games, the makers of this, if they had simply waited, had a finished product, released that, and then maybe if they thought of a few more things they wanted to add a year later, they do some DLC there. Clearly that wasn't the plan here. Clearly they wanted to sell a small game and then sell some DLC and sell some DLC, much like how the Telltale Games episodic releases are, where technically you're only buying the first episode, or you're getting the first episode for free, and then you're having to buy DLC for episode 2, episode 3, episode 4, episode 5. So 4 of the 5 sections of the game to get a complete story is actually through DLC purchases. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I end my episodes the same way. I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on basically any social media sites like Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Google+, Steam, or Battle.net, all of those links are down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.